Hi, this is Roger, thanks for dropping by. Working video. Now I'm running late. We've had a mishap. I was watering everything this morning except the cymbidiums and peonies out here anyway, which is a lot, and I was quite tired and I thought I'll get myself a drink and sit down and watch the news, and fell sound asleep. I haven't long woken up and realised that the time is getting late. It will be getting dark in the not too distant future. Now I'm going to try and do 2 videos in the next hour. So we need to stop all this rabbit and get on with the work. So I'll swing the camera around and let you know what I'm up to. Right, as you can see in the background, I've got 2 Coelogynes here. They were identified as troublesome in the last Coelogyne update that I did, which you can backtrack and find if you like. So that's what this video is going to be about. And this video, all about this relatively new dendrobium that I got, which is Cassiope, is going to be the one for the members only. That will be the members only video. I'm not going to say what I'm going to do to it, but we're not setting fire to it or anything, don't worry. So that one goes to one side, that's not part of this video. But these are. So, as always, we get things out of the pots and we don't muddle up the tags. Let me just have a good look. Right. Now this is Coelogyne Lawrenceana, and it's hanging over the pot, and the back end of the plant has got stacks of room where there will never be any growth, so it's a total waste of time. So hopefully this is going to come out of the pot reasonably easy, he says, and there again it might not. It's got a pretty solid mass of media and roots. Come on. Really is in there. And we have got a reasonable amount coming through the bottom, but I wouldn't have thought it was enough to hold it in place. Oh, I don't believe it. Actually, I'm going to go and get a blade and go around the edge. Right, let's just run this round. Only going to go around with the blade around the back end of the plant, simply because that's where most of the old roots are, which I probably won't keep anyway. And let's see if that's loosened it up. Not really. Right, well, we will have to come around a bit nearer to the front then. Horrible feeling that was a crack in the pot, which is a shame because I want to reuse it. This is just because it's not really stuck to the pot. It's because it's such a mass of roots. That's got it now. It's coming. There we go. Right. Yeah, this is just solid, and I want to break that up a bit. So that's not the reason for repotting it. Now this hasn't long been potted, so there's nothing wrong with the media it's in. It's not. I don't need to replace it. It can stay. But the idea is to get the back end of the plant off, which I will do now. So I'm going to go in there. That. This is better than going to the gym. It's damn sight cheaper as well. Now I'm going to go through there. That should allow me to take the rest of the back end of that plant off. It would have been better if I'd got a sharp knife, wouldn't it? How are we doing? Okay. Right. So that's the back end of the plant gone, which was the objective. I'm not going to go much more than that. The objective is to get these new growths into some media. Now the roots we've already got are okay. I'm just going to tease a bit of the media out so that any new branches on these roots actually go into some media. Yeah, I don't like that solid mass there either. So I'm going to remove that. This is old roots down here. This is the bottom of the plant effectively. Just going to take these off. I think we're into scissor territory now. We've gone past the brute force territory and we're now into snipping. Now you might think this is a bit brutal, but where I'm hacking around and poking and pushing is not where the new roots are. New roots are up here and round here. There are a few down in this area. So that's what's coming off of that one. No, I'm not going to plant the old bulbs. Right, so that's that one. It's going back in the same pot, so I shall plonk it in there out of the way. Put the tag in there and we'll move on to the next one. And this has got the same problem apart from the fact it hasn't got the massive set of roots and will come straight out of the pot. Trust me. There we go. And how I knew that was this one was potted on. So all of that bark around the outside is new. It was. Right, now the reason for doing this is the same reason. We have new growths that were above the media and I want new roots to go in the media, not in the air. So I'm going to remove the sheaths. That exposes the base. I'm going to do something a bit different with this one to normal. I'll explain why when we get there. See this new growth here, the roots have already started to push upwards. What's I'm doing? There's a lot of new growths going on here, got to another one here. All these will be growing new roots. If those new roots can get straight into media and not into air, we will get a flipping good root system by the end of the growing season. And that's what Coelogynes need, because they can dehydrate quite badly. There's another one tucked back in the plant there, missed that one. Sometimes the sheaths just pull off, and other times they just won't move. They're so solid. But we're getting there. See, these have become really woody. They're really hard and woody, and roots won't push through those. Now in the native environment, in the wild, they would have a lot more moisture on them. But like I've said before, that moisture is clean rainwater. And they've got the airflow, the air movement, they've got everything going for them. And those woody bits don't become woody so much in the wild because they've got more moisture around them. They stay damp, and consequently the roots can push through them. Right, I'm happy with that. I'm not interested in messing with the roots too much. As you can see, we've got a hollow here, yeah? That's where the new growths are. That's where the new roots are going to come. All these are active roots, but they're old. Yeah, and then we've got the back end of the plant. In fact, I do believe there's two plants there. I could separate that, but then I'd end up with much smaller plants. I'm going to keep it as a single plant. And I'm not going to take the back end off because it will fall apart. I will leave those bolts on there for support. But what I will do is take this mass of old roots off around the back end of the plant. They serve no purpose. If they were active roots, I'd leave them, but they're not. They're just old. That'll do. Right, so that's that one. That goes back in its pot. Back in there and keep the label. Right, I'm going to chuck this. This goes in my bag. I keep a bag basically for rubbish, dead leaves, all that sort of stuff. And during my watering session today, we lost two plants. And one of them I'm really upset about because it was my apple blossom. And that was one of the original apple blossoms with the very good fragrance and everything, and the lovely tinges of colour. So a lot of the new clones are washed out and they've lost their fragrance. But basically the only new cane I had just rotted, just keeled over. So there is no plant. No point in trying to keep it. So that was that, and the other one was an oncidium I got that looked nice when I got it in bloom. Never bloomed since, and it's never grown properly ever since. So I got rid of that as well, and that was Oncidium barocco, I think it was called. Right, I'll break off there, go and get my media, and we'll get these sorted out. I'll be back. Okay, suddenly dawned on me that I'm having a spaghetti tonight. One of those that I cooked in the last cooking videos, so that'll come out the freezer and get thawed out in the microwave and heated up. When I have a spaghetti, I like to have Chianti, and I thought we need to do a quality assurance. We need to check that the bottle's okay, so I poured a bit out. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. Right, we will do this one first. This is the one that didn't want to come out of the pot. It's going back in the same pot. I know it doesn't look clean, but it was all clean and sterilised when the plant went in there, and nothing else has been in there, so it's okay. So I'll get some bark in the bottom. This is my medium bark. That gives us a basis to work on. Now don't forget, the principle of what we're doing here is to get this in the media, so that's too much. Just need a bit. Nope, we're going to have to take the bottom of the plant off. Where can I put that? I'll put it up here, I'll hoover up in a minute. Because if I don't take the bottom of the plant off, we're not going to get it low enough in the pot. So I'm just snipping the bottom off. We'll take it off. than I thought. That's got it. Right, now, where was I? So I want this at the back of the pot. All the growth is here, and that's where it's going to expand. Sorry, all the growth is here, and that's where it's going to expand. And I need that in media. So that's about the depth I want for this part of the plant, which means the back end of the plant is going to get buried. And it doesn't matter because I'm using large bark, and I won't bring it up to the top of the pot. I'll just bring it up to the base of the pseudobulbs. So that's the back of the pot done. There's no growing going on there, the growing is going on here. So we will put some large bark in, which will be in the bottom of the pot. Then we will switch to the smaller bark. Bring this up quite a way, so this is now going all over the roots that we've got, but the roots I'm interested are the ones that haven't grown yet, that are going to come out of these new growths around the front of the plant. That's the bit that's important, and I want those roots to go straight into media, so they're going to get my smallest bark just round the base, whoops, of the pseudobulbs. I hope that bag landed the right way up. Yes, it did. Very good. So this is my sort of seedling mix, which is very small bark. There's some perlite and some bits of moss in there from where I've mixed up other things. Now all of that's gone round the base of the new growths, which is exactly where the new roots will come out. It's only a thin layer. Those roots will go straight down through that and into the larger bark. Yeah? But this smaller bark near the surface will stay moist a lot longer than the other bark, and it will encourage those roots to get down into the pot. But there's not enough of it to stay really, really wet and start thinking about rotting the pseudobulbs. So that's that one done, and we will put the tag back in the back of the pot. Stick that back in there. I will water that in a minute. Get that out of the way, as time's getting on. Right, quality assurance. Now let's do this one. And it's sort of the same principle. The pot will come out of the black pot, thank you. Right, so we need some chunky stuff in the bottom. Got far less roots to worry about this time. And it's the front of the plant where all these new growths have got to go in the media. So the plant's going to have to go about there. No, it needs to go deeper. So we'll get some out. It needs to go right down so that all of those growths are sitting on the media. And then, like before, we put the big bark round the back. Now this time there is some actual active roots round the back, so I will make sure this bark does get down in amongst the roots so that they're at least touching something. And then just bring it up to the level of the base of the pseudobulbs. But no, so what we're effectively doing is filling half the pot with one type of media and the other half with a different type. Right, so that's the big chunky stuff around the back of the plant. Now we've got active roots here, so this media needs to get down into those. So they're not quite so random this time. We need to actively deal with those roots down in the bottom of the pot and make sure they're in media. But again, I'm only going to bring this media up so far and I'm going to stop. That's about right. And then, as before, we will get the very fine media which will sit around the base of the plant where the new roots are going to come out, and encourage them to get down into the pot. These new growths are still quite near the edge of the pot, but there is room for them to develop and grow to their full size in this pot. Then next time, with the next set of new growths, we will need a bigger pot. But hopefully this time round the new roots will get down in some media. So have I dealt with all the new growth? Yes, this is the only one that's a bit high. Might have to just suffer that. Right, so that's that done. Back in there. The tag back in. Suppose you might want to know what they are. Well, this is Moriana. Coelogyne Moriana. And it's the standard species, not one of the named versions like Brockhurst or what's the one I've got, Magnifica. It's not any of those. So those are our two plants, and the other one was Lawrenceana, if I didn't say. Those are the two Coelogynes. Hopefully now any new roots that come from the new growths will get down into that fine media where they won't dehydrate, and then they can push on and get into the bark below, which should stay moist a little bit longer. Because of the fine bark on top, it won't evaporate so quick. So that should get us a decent root system going reasonably well. Okay, so that's that one. I've got another video to do now, which is for the members only. So I will switch over to that. And as far as this one's concerned, thanks for dropping by and all that. Perhaps you could think about becoming a member of the YouTube channel, or joining me on the Patreon site and become a member over there, and then you can watch the next video that I'm just about to do. Anyway, thanks for your company, thanks for dropping by. Don't forget the old thumbs up, and leave us a comment if you feel like doing so. See you next time. Bye for now.